Hello and welcome to the African bush. You are joining us for a 4x4 bug out camp. Survival is all about using the resources that you have available to you in your environment and that you have in your bag or on your person or in your vehicle in order to fulfill all of your needs. With that in mind, in this episode, I'm going to go through the water system that we've put on this vehicle and how we use it in the wilderness. I'm Clarice. Welcome to the Live Ready channel. From an emergency preparedness perspective, it's great to have some drinking water in your vehicle. If you've gone camping and you've had a limited amount of water as a resource, you'll know that you actually use quite a lot of water. And I think the Cape Townians in South Africa are really aware of how much water they use, considering the droughts that we faced in previous years. You can get by with very little water, but it also comes back to campsite selection. You want to ensure that you select a campsite that there is a fresh water source if available. Now, it is really fun to use this build when you go camping or you go on holiday, but there is also a serious implication here. If you are displaced from your home, you need to be able to, first of all, move to a position where you will be more safe, and in the process of moving, you also need water, food, all of the usual things that we have at home. Having all of this stuff built into a vehicle, your water systems, extra fuel, a shelter system, etc., already puts you a step ahead of whatever disaster you're moving away from. And we use some of our other survival skills as well when we're bugging out with a vehicle. So navigation becomes important, knowing where to find water or navigating to water. By the way, yes, you can use a compass to find water. Go and check out that video, I'll link it here somewhere. Being able to set up a shelter and just the considerations around a campsite. Where is it actually safe to park your vehicle? Where are you going to find firewood? Are you in the direct line of some of the elements in your environment? Are you going to face high winds where you are? All of those things contribute to how comfortably you survive. So this is a 42 litre front runner water tank. I've got a 67 litre in the back of the vehicle as well. The reason why is because I've realized that during the course of a day, like I said, we actually use a lot more water than what we think we do. And if you're traveling to an area where you don't have access to fresh water, let's say you're traveling through the desert, you might want to add a couple more of these. So in a day, just showering, washing, cooking, and all of that kind of thing uses up almost 100 litres of water at camp. So these two tanks can easily be emptied by the end of the day. Now, obviously, you can use your water more sparingly, but it is great just to be able to fill up with some extra water if you don't have a tap nearby. The front runner water tank, the 42 litre that goes on top of the roof rack, this is also a front runner roof rack. In fact, everything except the solar panel, which I see is now in the shade. I'll have to go and chase the sun with it again shortly. So I did this build at R&D Off-Road. Get a good company who knows what they're doing to do it for you. I'll put their link in the description below as well. And the reason why I opted for a front runner roof rack is because of the modular system, and it looks so nice. Roof racks can often look very messy, sort of just a hack job that somebody's put together, a whole lot of bits and pieces. But front runner makes it look like it all belongs together. Now, this water tank is actually supposed to be mounted on the back of the roof rack. I like it at the front because it balances out the jerry cans, not just in aesthetics, but also it physically balances out the roof rack. You don't want the one side of the roof rack to weigh a whole lot more than the other side. So I've got 42 litre water tank here, and I've got the fuel system on the other side. Now, I have plumbed this with an elbow over here, running right underneath what this is. I'm actually not entirely sure. This is a wind deflector. Plumbed it so it comes out the other end. Because we usually set our camp up on the left-hand side of the vehicle, I've opted to put most of my usable things on that side, so I don't have to walk around the car every time I want to access water. And I've used a bit of Velcro just to strap it on there so I can undo it and move it around if I want to. The other water tank is a water point that goes to the back of the vehicle, and then I've got a water point at the left front as well. So this is a really nice system here because I can easily undo this and take it off. The only thing that I would really say you have to keep in mind is there is not a release valve on this tank. So if you are running water from it, then open the lid at the top, because otherwise the tank collapses from the vacuum that forms from running the water out of it. The locking systems that they've got on all of these bits and pieces that you add to your roof rack basically allows you to put a little cable lock in through a small hole, and once you've undone your cable lock and a clip system that releases it down there. So once you've got that open, you've basically got access to your water tank, and you can remove it from the vehicle and you can move it around anywhere you want. If I could have asked for anything, I would have just asked for some of the other handle at the top of the water tank, so that you can actually lift it off and onto the vehicle or move it around camp if you wanted to. But the idea is obviously that it stays on here. The other thing is a release valve would be great, because the reason why I know that this doesn't release any air and the water tank collapses when you don't release the valve at the top is because I have run water out until I've seen this tank pretty much half its current size and gotten a major fright. Anyway, it sort of popped up again once I just released the air valve at the top, but it's food for thought. In the case of a flood, for example, you might find that all of the natural resources in the environment are contaminated or are brackish, depending on what the disaster is. Whatever brings you into the wilderness, don't forget to enjoy the experience. In Deuteronomy 11:24, God tells his people, "Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours." And we should treat the wilderness as our own. We should take care of it as if it belongs to us, and we should leave it as we found it. Leave no trace of a fire, of any waste, or of a campsite. Now, like I said, I've got access to the other water point from the back of the vehicle. So this is it right here. And I've literally just added a really long hose onto it. So this hose is about 3 meters long. So I've got a lot of room to move. The ideal is to actually have your camp shower set up close to your water tank, especially if you're using something like a 12-volt camp shower. And I'm going to get to how you can make that work with a front runner water tank in a moment. But you really want your water point and your shower point to be quite close to one another. So this over here is just basically some of the leftover plumbing that we had from the aquaponics farm that we've put onto this tank over here. And you can see there's a pretty decent flow of water coming out from this tank here. I can basically plug a hose pipe into this and fill it up from the hose pipe, rather than putting a hose pipe into the tank inside my vehicle. What has happened before is we've put a hose pipe in the vehicle and we forgot about it, or we filled it up too much. I can't remember what the actual case was, but we had basically an explosion of water inside the car, and that's the last thing you want. So it's great to be able to fill it up from this side, and then you can monitor how full it is through the peephole or through the actual water fill hole. Right, let's go have a look at the tank. So you can see that the 67-litre tank fits quite nicely behind seat. So if you have your seat, this is obviously now folded down, but if you have your seat sitting up, they also make a water tank that is angled. So it's basically like a triangular shape. So it fits nicely behind the back of the back seat. I had a previous water tank, I think it was a Pioneer Plastics tank. Within the first couple of days, it started leaking at the tap here. And I think it was the plastic welding of the Pioneer Plastics tank that actually came loose, and that's why I had some leakage. And I think FrontRunner has done this really well. I haven't had a single day's leakage with this tank. Obviously, it's really important that your tank doesn't leak inside your car, otherwise it's going to mold and smell musty. And you're also going to lose your water that way. I don't know if I'm in the video. Do remember, if you are going to be getting water from the wilderness, maybe you're going to fill up at a river or something like that, in which case it is really nice to have a 12-volt pump, because you can pump water into the tank. Remember to also treat the water. So have some water treatment drops or some of the other filter. You can even use like a Sawyer Mini or something. I'm pretty sure you can plumb that on to the end of a tap or something like that, or I don't know, a Grail, whatever, MSR, whatever water filtration system you use. Just make sure that you remember to treat the water. Don't just fill up all your tanks from the river and then think that that's safe to drink because it came out of your water tank. Now, as far as a 12-volt shower system goes, this is the one that I've been using up until this camp. So it's probably my favorite part of camping in the wilderness, is having a shower set up in the bush. I don't know why, I just like it. I like a shower with a view. So this is the 12-volt shower system that I had been using. And the reason I'm not using it at the moment is because the pump is fried. If I do manage to get another 12-volt system before I actually post this video, then I'll show you how it works. But basically, none of these 12-volt systems fit into any of the water tanks that we have available in South Africa in any way. The pump itself is usually too big to actually fit through the hole. So what I had to do was I used a step drill to just increase the diameter of the inside of this water tank's hole, just so I can fit my 12-volt shower pump into that. And that works really great, because now I can add whatever water I want in here, whether it's clean water, dirty water, river water, warm water, cold water, whatever I want, and basically put my 12-volt shower system into this. Now I've also added an extended tube onto this pump, because obviously coming from here to wherever I'm setting up the shower, I really wanted to be able to reach, so I've changed the tubing on it to a longer tube. Luckily the actual electrical tube was long enough for me to reach wherever, and that basically just fits into any one of your 12-volt sockets. Serious gripe, like serious letdown, but I do have a backup shower system, so I'll go and show you that in a second. So you see, water is not just for drinking, water is for cooking, it's for cleaning, it's for showering in. So I've used this where we've gone camping, where there wasn't a tap or anything that I could fit into a hose pipe or anything into my tank to fill up the tank. I've basically put water in a bucket and then put the pump inside the bucket, and I've put this inside the tank here, basically the other way around, and then pumped water into my tank using my 12-volt system. To demonstrate the practicality of a 12-volt shower, I have my latest 12-volt shower, and I'm going to show you how I usually set it up. So at the moment I've got the suction part sitting on the inside of my door, but I usually put it on the other side, so that's just for camera's sake. And basically it's really simple. It just has like a little bracket that you fit onto the shower itself, clip it on there. The 12-volt part plugs into the ecoflow. I can plug it into the 12-volt socket that's on the vehicle, but remember, if you have an automatic vehicle and you drain the primary battery, you're not going to be able to push start it. So to me, I have peace of mind plugging it into the ecoflow, where I know if it drains the ecoflow or a whole bunch of things drain the ecoflow, I'm not going to have to worry about trying to get my vehicle started. By the way, you can actually trickle charge the vehicle's battery from the ecoflow, but it's still better to not have to charge your battery at all. Right, so this is exceptionally long. Because this is a new shower, I haven't actually replaced the tubing, the thick part over there, and you can see it's really short. So to get this to the water is actually quite tricky. The 12-volt pump you can basically put into any water source. You can put it into the river and pump river water. In that case, you'd say, well, maybe you should then rather just take a swim or a dunk in the river. Well, that depends on what kind of predators you have in the river. This is exceptionally long, this is exceptionally short, which is why I usually change the tubing, which I might actually do just now. So this part just goes into the 67-litre tank that I've got sitting at the back of the vehicle. I don't think it's gonna reach. Okay, third time lucky. The other alternative is to actually use the little hook that is supplied. Most of these 12-volt showers are exactly the same. They come with all the extra parts, so you don't need to go and buy all of these things. And basically, if you had a tree branch, you could just hook the one side of the hook over the tree. I wonder if it locks in place. No, it doesn't, because that would have been great. And then you can hang your shower from the tree branch. Turn the ecoflow on, and you basically just press the button and on goes your shower. What's nice about the ecoflow here is because I can plug the shower into it, I can actually carry the shower down to the river or to wherever I've got a water source. I'm not tied to my vehicle. Do go and check out the description for this video. For anything that I can find links, online links, I'll post them in the description. What's also great about this is I can actually use it to just clean things off. So if Indy, for whatever reason, is very dirty, I don't have to have the shower head on. I can actually just use it as a hose pipe. You're definitely getting a wash after this, doggy. For in case of emergencies, like if my 12-volt shower system doesn't work, I do have a backup shower system set up. Let me show you that. This is basically what they call a solar shower. The idea behind it is that because it's black, it basically heats up the water that you put inside it if it's hanging in the sun all day. I haven't found that to be particularly effective, but it does make for a pretty good shower if you don't have anything else. So this one is actually supposed to be 20 litres, and the one issue that I have found with them is that they tend to break at the top where you hang them. So they're not the best quality. You do obviously get better quality and worse quality ones, but the idea behind this is literally just to have a bag that you can fill with water, and that you've got a little shower nozzle at the bottom that opens and closes with a tap so that you can stand under it and shower. Now this is a lot more manual labor. I did actually have to climb this tree for us to get the rope down. So we threw the rope over and it got stuck. The problem is they make this tube from here to here very long. So it's actually this long. So we actually ended up cutting it off and just putting the shower nozzle in the shorter tube so that you can hoist it up. And once it's hoisted up, it's high enough for you to stand underneath it, and then you can shower like that. To hoist it up, it's just lifting it to the height at which you want it. If it is really windy, it is actually worthwhile putting up a couple of tarps just to shelter yourself from the wind where you make your shower. That goes without saying that if there are other people around, you'd also want a little bit more privacy than this. But that will just prevent the wind from blowing the water right off of you, and you actually then don't land up getting any water. So basically, once I've got it at the height that I want it, this is how we got it into the tree. And then you just turn the nozzle over there. So yeah, not the most effective shower, but definitely will help you to get clean if you need to. And then don't forget to take your anti-mozzie cream. This is my camping hack for this episode. These are really great ones. This is made by Wright's Riss anti-mozzie cream. They make actually like quite a couple of things in their range. So they have this anti-mozzie cream. I think this one is exactly the same. It's also just an anti-mozzie cream, but they also have it in a spray and a soap. So I really love this soap. I've actually come to associate it with camping because every time we go camping, I use this citronella. It's called citronella and lemongrass oils in it. What's great about this soap is that it's biodegradable, which is really great to keep the mozzies off you, and it really does make a difference having some camping soap that's got citronella in it, and also spraying yourself to keep the bugs off of you. So this is the last little bit of my water system. This is basically the tap point for the 42-litre water tank that sits on the right-hand side of the roof rack. So this has been really useful. Every time I've wanted to wash my hands or something, or just fill up the dog's bowl, I've been able to come here and just get a really great flow of water from this tap. I do throughout the day sometimes. Maybe I've picked up something dirty or I just want to fill up something with water, then I do actually use this just during my everyday activities. So really great just to have it, even if you aren't going to go camping with it. Having a really nice water supply is cool. The other thing that I have thought of is it might be possible to just plumb a shower head onto this. The advantage of that would be that this tank usually sits in the sun. So that 42-litre tank is a pretty decent amount of water for a shower, and it gets hot, so you'll have a warm water shower at the end of the day. Well, that's it from me on this episode of Bugging Out with your 4x4. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below if you've got any extra camping hacks and tips. Also remember to watch out for the other episodes in this series, and until the next time, live ready.